Hello and welcome to the March update here at Revesby Estates Farms from myself and Rhubarb, who we met on the February update. So March, what have we had? If we start with the weather, so in total in March we had 67 millimeters of rain, which is better than we've had in the last few months, but is still above average. So we are still continuing to get wetter than what we would normally get. In total, the last sort of 3 months, so since the beginning of the year, we've had 255 mil, which is getting on towards half of our annual rainfall in just 3 months. So you can see it's quite a lot of rain, and it is quite a struggle for us out there at the moment. We had a maximum temperature of 16.5 degrees, which was on the 19th of March, and we had a low of minus 1.9, which was on the 4th of March, and the average temperature during March has been 8.1. So given the rainfalls, what have we been up to? Well, you'll see in this video Zach has managed to get on with the first small amount of drilling. We've got some spring oats gone into the ground, and we've also managed to get some spring barley in behind some of our last lifted sugar beet. So we've made a start on the drilling. We're not as far on as we would normally hope to be, but we have made a start. Also, Adrian's been busy putting more of the nitrogen on, like we saw in the last update, and he has also been putting on a growth reg onto our winter wheat crop. The idea behind the growth regulator onto the wheat crops this early on, so normally a growth reg is there to regulate the growth of a crop, stop it getting too high so we don't get what we call lodging when the wheat falls over. Putting it on early doesn't really manipulate the crop's height as such. What we're doing here early is trying to manipulate the amount of tillers we get. Now, what we mean by tillers, if we have a look at this crop here, you will see, just spin the camera around, you can see here, so this main here is what we would call the main stem. It's the thickest, it's the strongest stem, and it would have grown originally from the first seed we put in. And then at the side of it, we've got one and we've got two, what we call tillers. So they're coming out from the root ball at the bottom here. We've actually got three on here. So these are the tillers. They're the daughter tillers of the main stem. Now what the growth reg does is what we put on is stop all the energy going into this main one, puts like a block in place on the main one, and then it puts some energy into these side tillers to make these develop and become strong. Because what we want to do is keep these surviving through until harvest, because these will put heads on, therefore we get more heads, more grain per metre squared per hectare. Also, the more of these tillers we get on, the more root development we get, and if the plant can't sustain these tillers, so if we carry on with the cold, wet soils, this plant's got one aim in life, and that is to produce seed. What it will do is drop some of these tillers off. It'll abort them just so this main 10 survives. But if it aborts these, what we get is a lot of rooting. It keeps the rooting so it can extract all the nutrients into its main. So the more healthy we can make these tillers, the better it is for us. So we're just stopping nutrition into this main stem and putting it into these sides. So that's what we're trying to do by manipulating these early on with the growth reg, is to get more tillers going for us. So that's what we've been busy with sort of on the farm. What you'll see throughout this video is we had an open day with Agri as well at the beginning of March. We had over 80 farmers come and have a look at what we're up to here, the trials we're on with, and also share and discuss ideas in a wet season like we've got. What's working, what's not working, what can we do better, basically learn from each other. So yes, I hope you enjoy this update. We hosted one of our open days along with Agri. Here we had up to nearly 80 farmers came along to discuss various things. Here you can see us in the field. We're looking at where we'd had a flooded area in a field, and it's really how we're going to move forward and get a crop into here. Here you can see the circle of blue dye. We put a blue dye onto the surface to show how water infiltrates throughout the soil. Here's where I'm sort of digging through it. We use the dye to show us whether the water is actually moving down throughout the profile or it's being held up by compaction. So here we've got a section of soil removed and we can see a lot of blue dye on the top, and we're looking for how it's managing to naturally find its way down through the profile. It's a very handy way to know whether we've got any compaction issues and whether we need to use any mechanical means of removing this. We look at different parts of the field, some where the traffic's been by the tractors and other parts where it hasn't. One downside to the blue dye, however, is once you've been digging throughout the soil, you do end up with it on your hands, and it does take quite a few washes to remove it. And we did manage to find a slot at the beginning of March to start getting some of our spring crops in the ground. So here we've got Zach drilling some spring oats. We're on the 9th of March and we found our proper first weather window to start putting these spring oats in. See the track eradicator running, taking the wheelings out on our controlled traffic system. And there we are, direct drilling in. Doing a really nice job. You can see here the slot has been closed up lovely. You can't really tell we've drilled this land. There's his wheelings, track eradicator have taken out. Now what we mean by track eradicating, it's where we run on the intermediate wheelings with the combine, and then obviously the drill tractor, we just take that compaction out, but we do not remove the wheelings what the sprayer runs on. And here I've just scraped away a bit of the soil, and here we've got the oats sat in here. So this is where the coulters rang. It's been closed up again, and you can just see as I pull away. There we go. There are the oats, just sat in nicely in the soil. Good to see some land getting drilled at last. With all the tricky conditions we've had, this is a little bit of light land here, but it's took the weather well. Seeing as it's direct drilled, it allows the rain to filter through a lot easier than cultivated land. Yes, I've just come back now to the field which we saw Zach in there drilling. So it's about 20 days ago now. So I'm back in here, and if we just spin around, so here you can see the oats are now nicely up to 20 days since going in the ground. They are managing to get up and away and growing in here. Yes, it's nice to see some greenery coming back in. So I hope you've enjoyed this update. I end it on a bit of a damp note. You can see the dark clouds behind us. It's raining as normal, but hopefully, fingers crossed, as we get into April, we can start to get some more of the blue skies, and we can look forward to some more joyful updates. So from Rhubarb and myself, we look forward to seeing you next month.